If you can... Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so we just started. So here we are. So book 1, Alone Against the Flame, a solo introductory adventure which teaches you the basics of Call of Cthulhu as you play through a mystery. Cool. Book 2, Call of Cthulhu Starter Rules, everything you need to get started playing games of mystery and horror. Book 3, Paper Chase and Other Adventures, 3 starter scenarios to mystify, perplex, and scare. 5, Ready-Made Investigators, which are pre-made characters we can do. Blank investigator sheets, ready for creating your own investigators, which we're going to do. Role-playing dice, as I said earlier, are standard RPG, or tabletop dice. And then the player handouts, a set of ready-to-use props that accompany the adventure in Book 3. So, there we go. And if in case you didn't see, I also got a solo adventure book. So, if we like Call of Cthulhu, we'll eventually run this one. And I gotta say, dude, like, the new webcam looks so much better. Like, you can actually read everything, aside from, like, the shiny shit on the paper. So, Book 1, Alone Against the Flame. Book 2, The Introductory Rules. Book 3, Paper Chase and Other Adventures. And then we have our 5 pre-made characters. So we have, which, like, this is, like, dope, dude. Look at that. Look at the fucking character sheets, dude. They look so good with, like, the little embezzling and the Cthulhu logo and all that. That's so good. So we have Jessie Williams. She's a history student. We have Keiko Kane. She's a science student. We have Lois Russo. She is a engineering student. My apologies. We have Nevada Jones, who is quite literally Indiana Jones. No way, he's an archaeology professor. And then we have Wentworth Avebury. He's a languages professor. Ah, yes. Okay. And then, of course, we have our own blank character sheets. And, okay, we have like 10 blank character sheets. We have handouts, which I'll mess with later. Yeah, okay, we'll mess with the handouts later. You gotta be the second science lady girl, Keiko? We can. I was going to make Maddie a recurring character. If you remember, she was the one that we did Alone Against the Darkness, where a military installation blew up twice in our face. But we can run Keiko if not. My whole thing, the only reason why I was, reason why I was doing that, and then eventually we'll make Beaky Ben for another one. Yeah, as long as there's no fucking military bases, exactly. Okay, so we'll rock this one. So I don't think I need the rest of this stuff for the time being. We're going to go through the first book. And everything's just off to the side. So we're going to go through our first book. Well, I don't know, what should Maddie's last name be? Are we just going to make it, Benjamin's a first name. Like, we don't know anyone with 2 first names, you know? Let's go, because Bennery, okay. Madeline Bennery, I love it. So that's going to be our character. So, Madeline Bennery. Okay, cool. So you guys can kind of see that. Since it's in 1080p, I can't really zoom in, unfortunately. The webcam comes with this cool little, like, fucking, whatever you want to call it, remote, but I can't fucking zoom in. Also, it's flipped upside down, but whatever. Can you see those red words? Let me know if you can. It might not actually show up on stream, but if not... Yep, okay, that's weird. Alright, cool. So, we have Madeline Bennery. I assume... I'm going to... Let me go through that... where was that first page again? Because I want to see if it will actually walk us through and help us make a character, or if we just have to have we're under the assumption that we already know how to make characters. Solo, which teaches you the basic as you play through a mystery, everything to get started, and then 3 other scenarios. Okay. Book 1, which your character must navigate alone. As you play through it, you'll be guided through creating an investigator character. Okay, cool. Excellent. Because if that's the case, Beaky Ben Bennery is her immortal father figure. Yeah, exactly. I fucking love the mythos, dude, we've been making. Alright, so, as we can see, that could be Madeline right there. Nice, nice black hair with glasses. She has kind of like a dapper set of clothes. So there we go. Alright, so what this set contains, book 1, blah, blah, blah. I already went through that multiple times. The aim of Call of Cthulhu is to have fun with your friends as you explore and create a mystery of horror. One player takes the role of Keeper of Arcane Lore. The Keeper, so, you know, DM, essentially. Their role within the rules is run the investigate for the rest of the investigators, who take part in intrepid investigations of the unknown, or just investigations, the heroes of the story, attempting to seek out, understand, and eventually confront the horrors, mysteries, and secrets of the Cthulhu mythos. As you are the person reading this book, you'll assume you are the one to take on the Keeper for the first few games. The Keeper picks a story to run. These stories are known as adventures or scenarios. You will play through a special solo adventure, Alone Against the Flames, but you will also find some starter scenarios in Book 3 to play with your friends. I don't want to do that. Okay. A scenario provides a keeper with the structure to keep the story present to the players, of course. The investigators need not be anything at all like the player who plays them. Indeed, it's often more rewarding and enjoyable to play characters entirely unlike yourself. Yes, I'm talking to every single person who plays tabletop games as a human fighter. Lame asses. Most of the play is a verbal exchange. The keeper sets the scenes, etc. The game rules use dice to, if action succeeds or fails, when dramatic conflict presents itself. Except, you know, a roll, as you normally do. The rules in Book 2 describe how to decide the outcomes. In Call of Cthulhu, there are no winners and losers in the standard competitive sense. Play is cooperative. Oh, this is just going through what a fucking RPG is. Okay. Never played a role-playing game before? No, I have. And then we have percentile dice, of course. Okay. Beautiful. So let's get into this, shall we? Alright, now you understand the basic premise of playing Call of Cthulhu. So you can take your first adventure, Alone Against the Flames, a horror story set in the 1920s where you are the main character, and your choices determine the outcome. It is designed to lead you through the basic rules of the game in a gradual and entertaining fashion. Okay. Although most such adventures are played with your friends, this one is just for you. Don't worry, there'll be still things you don't fully understand. What if I'm a human fighter but have insane luck where I keep accidentally winning because the opponent either trips or has health problems that result in death? Look, man, if one of your opponents has a heart attack, you know, that's unfortunate. If 5 of your opponents have a heart attack, that's really suspicious. You'll even be able to create your own investigator. I want to make a gator wearing a vest. Make sure you have Book 2 nearby. You need to refer to it when you play. You also need to read Book 2 before you start playing. You also require one of the blank investigator sheets. Read on and follow the instructions for Section 1. Once you've completed the venture, then read Book 2. For that, settle in a comfortable chair and prepare to be alone against the flames. All right, we got a cool little picture there. A solo introductory adventure. Okay. So it seems, the way that these work, it seems like it is going to be like one of those old choose your own adventure books. If you can see at the beginning, so like first one, we go to 263, and then blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. All right, so I'm going, just before I do this, I'm going to go up to 263 and see if we're going to be making a character or not. Okay, gotcha. That's what we're going to do. All right, so let us start. This is going to be a talking heavy stream, which is fun. All right, a solo introductory adventure. The sun is high in the sky, a merciless ball of heat. You feel scorched by the time you reach the bus halt in front of Osborne's drugstore. It's a relief to put down your heavy cases and take your hat off for a moment. Excuse me, I'm going to be bouncing back and forth and all that, but that should be all right. I don't honestly know if that's going to help. That might help, I think, because I'm facing more closer to the mic. I don't know where the condenser is on this thing, man. Anyway, you fang your face. It's been a long summer here in your hometown, and yet a curiously empty one. You look across the street at the grubby butcher shop, the grocer with its fading awning, and the shabby tobacconist. That's not a word we have anymore. Okay, thank you. Mistrustful faces glare at you as they pass, eyeing your clothes and luggage. It was your parents' choice to live here, not yours. You were happy down south as a child, among Providence's white-walled houses and leafy churchyards. Perhaps this new job in Arkham will supply the change you need. Yet everybody you know in the world lives here. You know nobody in Arkham. Not one soul. You ask yourself one last time if you're doing the right thing. The answer is here. None of your supposed friends have come to see you off. You are alone. Whatever challenges lie in Arkham, it will be a new life and a brave one. A small gray coach approaches and rattles to a stop. You put your hat back on and pick up your cases. Go to page 263. If I could do a good Tidewater accent, I'd do that, but I cannot, so I will not. I'm not going to embarrass the nice people of whoever speaks in the Tidewater accent. Alright, so 263. Two young men with sullen expressions alight from the coach. One looks up and down before heading away. The driver also steps up, glancing at you, before crossing the road to visit the tobacconist. Tobacconist. That's such a weird fucking word, man. When he returns, he's rolling a cigarette between his yellowed fingers. He gives it a final twist and examines you as you reach for his matchbox. He is a thin man in his 50s, dressed in a stained shirt with the bus company emblem. Yet his eyes are sharp in their dark sockets. Where to? You show him your ticket for Ossipee. From there, you'll connect to Rochester and Portsmouth, before the coastal line to Newburyport, and finally Arkham. You should be able to afford a rail ticket for at least some of the way. Otherwise, this will be your first of many long bus trips. The driver scratches the match and lights his cigarette. The end flares as he takes a draw. Then he exhales and gestures to the back of the coach. Luggage rack's up here. Alright, so look at your investigator sheet. At the top, you have spaces for 8 characteristics. Strength, constitution, power, dexterity, appearance, size, intelligence, and education. Allot the following values among them, writing in the large squares besides them. 40, 50, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 80. If you'd like more information about these characteristics, read page 7 of book 2. I mean, we know tabletop. Ooh, that's some dope-ass art. Look at that. But we'll take a look at all of it. So, investigator characteristics. So, strength. I'm just going to read this stuff to you guys. Strength measures the raw physical power, of course. Constitution measures your health. Yep. Power is a combination of force of will, spirit, and mental stability. What up, Jaws Donkey? I assume that power is going to be like magic, quote unquote. There's not magic in the typical sense in this world. Dexterity is a measure of your character's investigator's physical agility and speed. Probably initiative. Laser noise. What the fuck? Hello? That's weird. Hold on. Okay, did that work? That seems to be a little bit better, right? I literally just... Dude, I think the cable might be bad on these. I literally just moved the cable. I mean, these cables are like 2-3 years old, so... They shouldn't, dude. I'm not rolling over them or anything, but whatever. Anyway, appearance measures physical appeal of your character. I wonder what that's for. Size reflects your investigator's combined weight and height. Int is a rough measure of your investigator's cunning and agility to make leaps of logic and intuition. Education is a measure of the knowledge that your investigator has accumulated through formal education or the venerated School of Hard Knocks. So, okay, so we're going to allocate various stats to your investigators, means strength, blah, 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 blah. Put 70 means strength. 78% on average score, meaning you're quite strong. Write down numbers in the investigator sheet in the large box. We call these regular statistics. Okay, so we're going to build a character with us. You got... Oh, fuck. I'm going to build a character with you guys. In the large box. I'm going to be honest. The large box, they're 3 equal-sized boxes, but okay, whatever. Large box by each of the stats, so I'm assuming these guys. All right, so what are we gonna roll? Is Maddie going to be? Is she going to be strong? Is she going to be appealing? Is she going to be smart? Like, how are we doing? I think we're gonna go. I think We have to go... I say we go from the top down. So I'm going to say that she's probably going to do... we'll make Dex 80. Right? We'll do Dex as 80. Like I said, I wish I could zoom in so I could show you guys a little bit better, but, you know, whatever. 70, we will make Int. We'll do, yeah, Int for 70. For the 260s, we'll do Education and Power. Like I said, I'm kind of guessing on these. Appeal, we'll do 50. As well as Con and Strength. And then the 40, I guess, will be Size. There you go. So, our stats are as follows. Strength 50, Con 50, Dex 80, Int 70, Size 40, Power 60, Appeal 50, Education 60. So we'll see how that goes for our character. When you have done that, go to page 8. Okay, back to page 8. You know, is what it is. Okay. The motherfucker, give me this book. Okay. The driver smokes and watches as you drag your cases to the back of the motor coach. The rack is set inconveniently high on the vehicle. You get a grip on the heavier case. If your size is 40, motherfucker, go to page 23. If your size is higher than this, go to 38. Okay. Also, since I can fill out a few more things of these. Pronouns, of course, will be she, her. Age, I don't know, fucking 20. I don't know if it's going to ask about age, so I will do that afterwards. The 1920s asking about pronouns. That's pretty that's pretty progressive. If my size is 40, which it is, go to 23. I knew I shouldn't have taken size for small. You struggle for a few seconds before the driver comes up beside you and lends you a hand, still puffing on his cigarettes. Heavy bags for a smallin', he remarks. You judge it best to respond with a simple thanks. Go to 233. Okay. This is an interesting way to do a solo adventure. It's different from, like, you know, pulling the fucking cards like we were doing, but... So, 233. The driver flicks his cigarette into the gutter and steps onto the motor coach. Its engines cough to life. You board, grateful that you will be the only passenger for the initial part of your trip, at least. With mixed emotions, you watch from the window as the tired avenues of your old home slip behind you, receding into the distance. For a few minutes, you can still see the church spire over the brow of a low hill. Then the road dips and it too is gone. Arkham is your new home. You will travel there and make a new start. You will see two smaller boxes on the right of each characteristic value. Half each value rounding down, and write the result in the upper right box. Also divide each value by 5, again rounding down, and write it in the lower box. We will use these numbers later. Fucking math, man. If using the interactive PDF, you'll see that it does the math for you. In the strip below, you'll see tracks that record sanity and magic points. Beginning sanity is equal to your original power, and beginning magic points are equal to the value you used to assign for your power divided by 5. Okay. So let's go through that again. Alright, so we have our character sheet. Alright, so half each value rounding down, so 50 would be 25. 50 would be 25. 80 would be 40. 70 would be 35. Come on, guys, if you know math, you can do it. 40 is 20. 60 would be 30. 50 would be 25. And 60 would be 30. And then what am I doing? Divide each value by 5, again rounding down, and write the result in the lower box. Okay. So a fifth of 50 is what, 10? A fifth of 50 is 10. The fuck is a fifth of 80? Bro, I don't know. Hold on, let me grab my... Oh, shit. Let me grab my math. 80 divided by 5 is 16. All right. 70 divided by 5 is 14. 40 divided by 5 is like, what, 8.5? Is used to 8, right? 8 times 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. 50 is 10. 60 is 12. Alright, so I assume those are going to equal certain, I don't know, abilities or checks or whatever that we do later. Okay, so if you... we will use these numbers later. If you're using the PDF, blah, 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 blah. Okay. In the strip below, we will have sanity and magic points. Beginning sanity is equal to your original power, so I made my power 60, so it's going to be my starting. And beginning magic points are the same as the value you've just assigned to power divided by 5. So see, it was a good thing we did power. We're going magic apparently. Wait, yes. The 1 divided by 5, magic points is maximum. And beginning magic points are the same as the value you've used assigned to power divided by 5. Okay. So let's go. Beginning magic points, but for my magic points I have maximum and I have current. I'm assuming maximum then is going to be 12. Dude, I got 60 sanity. I have no earthly idea what that means, but dude, it's gonna be like, you know, at least a time before we go insane. Now we're going to 134. Again, an interesting way to do this. All right, here's some more narrative. At least 7 minutes yet. Well, let me grab some more. I should make some tea with some honey, but whatever. Okay. The coach putters to life through the countryside. At first, the interior is stifling and your stomach lurches with every bend in the road. However, the driver opens his window and by switching seats, you find a spot where the breeze hits your face. You soon relax into the journey, observing the quaint little hamlets that the coach serves. A heavy-set woman boards at one settlement and gives you a polite nod. She gets off at the next one. The road rises a little, passing cornfields and orchards. The leaves are turning and the trees are alive with glorious reds and golds. You have just begun to doze off when the driver takes a tight bend at speed. Alright, cool, so we're gonna die. Add size and con together, then divide the total by 10, rounding down. This is your starting value for your hit points. Size and what? Size and con. 50 and 40 is 90, divided by what? What did it say? 10, so I got 9 HP. This is your starting value, so 9 HP currently. Cool. Marking investigator sheet. Your current total may drop, but it's unlikely to exceed the starting value. You also have a luck score. Roll 3 6-sided die. If only... I like how they say roll 3 6-sided die, but the set gives you 1d6. The yellow one I think was cursed last time, and then this. So, we got 3, 6, and 1. 3, 6, 1. Damn, she fun. So that's 10. We call this 3d6. Multiply your 3d6 by 5, so 10 times 5, 50, to get your beginning luck score and mark it. So, 50. Cool. The music is really good for this. I actually really do like it. Now you must make a roll against your dex. Roll 1 d100. I don't have a d100, but we'll do our percentile dice. So, where are my 2 d10s? Hello? And use one value for the 10, ones for the ones. So we have a 95. is right? Or is that 6? That's a 6. Pretty sure that's a 6. Is it? No, that's a 9, because that's how that works. Okay, yeah. So it's a 95. If you rolled equal to your dex or less, you passed the roll. If you rolled greater than the dex, you failed the roll. Okay, so I failed the roll. Skip sex rolls, simply pretend you always pass. Call of Cthulhu's game of mystery and horror. The terrible disasters will befall your character are part of the fun. You will not necessarily have more fun if you pass every roll than if you would if you failed. Alright, so this is where it turns away from D&D, which is what I'm used to. We're actually rolling for the lesser instead of the higher. I know, right? The very first roll we failed. So what if the DC is like, you know, a 50 and we roll a 51, we have failed. So that's how this one works. Okay, so I failed my dex roll. Go to number 59. A desperate yell awakens you. You feel yourself slide from the seat as the driver spins the wheel and the motor coach plunges off the road. Great! Too late. You reach for the seat in the front. You fall into the aisle and your ribs crash against the edge of the seat opposite. Your breath rushes out of you. The coach stops with a thump. Your driver leaps from a seat into the road. As you sprawl dizzy in the aisle, you hear a string of incendiary curses. The driver climbs back into the cab, sees you on the floor. He looks concerned and insists you back into your seat. You see what has happened now. A Fordson tractor has stopped in the road and he had to swerve to avoid the steel obstacle. Sorry, he says. All them fields and he has to pick the road to park. You alright? You don't have anything broken, but you'll have a colorful bruise for the next few days. He backs the coach up a little and threads it around the tractor, glaring at the farmer. Alright, so you lost 1 hit point in the accident. Mark the loss on your investigator sheet, keep track of the original value. You will eventually heal back up. If you drop to 0, you'll fall unconscious and you might die. So we're at 8 HP currently. Beautiful. Now go to 71. I don't know, we're supposed to, since it's Cthulhu, aren't we like, isn't it up in like New England? I probably shouldn't do like an old Southern accent, right? But like, the only other accent I can really do is like a Jersey accent. I don't know, we'll deal with it. Alright, you resume your journey. The driver takes the curves with more caution than before. He glances over his shoulder at you a couple of times. Sorry about before. That fellow was dumber than a hog. I'm Silas. What's your name? The accident at least as much Silas's fault as the farmer, but it doesn't seem shrewd enough to antagonize the man while he's driving you through the middle of nowhere. Make up a name for your character, record at your sheet. You may add your age for purposes of adventure. You should probably be aged between 23 and 36. We'll make Maddie 28 in this. It's Rhode Island. Yeah, I don't fucking know what people from Rhode Island sound like. We'll make her 28. It doesn't matter. People in Rhode Island don't exist. The coach turns a narrow road which lead uphill, going through. Silas becomes chatty. Going to Arkham, eh? Can't say I ever seen the place. Went to Boston once. Didn't like it. Too much hustle and bustle. You got family there? Special someone waiting? The afternoon's wearing on. You see no harm in confiding Silas about your new job. Your job, eh? What's your line? Alright, choose an occupation. So we can go take a look at our occupations. I'm assuming that is class. Not you. Your class. But I'm talking about actual classes. Okay. We recommend you write your skills die down, blah, 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 at occupation. Form what your investigator. Remember, the term investigator does not restrict you from being a cop or private eye. I think you're kind of classy. Oh, okay. That's my fucking neighbors outside, dude. I thought the music had whispering in the background. To begin with, choose an occupation. Anything you think would be interesting to play is valid. You should agree with your keeper. Some favorites are professor, journalist, occultist, archaeologist. Okay, so there's no typical classes in Call of Cthulhu. That's really cool. So you kind of, what if she's a PI? Madeline Bennery, the PI. Does it sound good? I mean, we have other ideas, like they have this kind of setup. So like antiquarian, if we wanted to be like a seeker of like lost artifacts. A dilettante, if we want to. I forgot what a dilettante is. Journalist, of course, a place effective PI, professor, and author. We could do PI, I think. She could be a PI. These are your investigators' occupation skills. Okay, so we'll go with PI. 249. I do declare. Something like that. Well, I've been working quite a few cases. Even though, well, if she grew up in Providence, she wouldn't have that voice, right? What was it, 249? Is that what it was? 249 is a PI, okay. So we will make our occupation Privati Investigator. I can see your name on a door. A door in the old building in gold letter. Yeah, Bennery PI. Let's fucking go. Okay. I'm coming here for some work. I'm a writer of sorts, you see. You skirt around the detail of the profession in your usual way, mentioning only that you have helped the police to clear up various problems in the past. Your heart pounds a little faster as you think of the post you have secured at the Blackwood Detective Agency. You've had enough investigating martial infidelity and bank clerks on the take. It sounds like the Blackwood Agency is just the opportunity you need to cut your teeth on some real villainy. Silas narrows his eyes, but he says nothing. Your credit rating skill is 20%. Your occupation skills are art, craft, and photography, disguise, law, library use, psychology, spot hidden, and one of either charm, fast talk, intimidate, or persuade. Let's do fast talk. You may also pick any other skill as a personal specialty. Allocate the following percentages among these, writing them in the largest square beside each. Ignore any starting value already mentioned in the investigator sheet. Okay. Oh, isn't that weird? Okay. So I figured it was going to be like, obviously, like with D&D, like your stats dictate your skills, but actually that's not the case in this. That's pretty cool. All right, so what are we going to make our 70? Our highest skill. So we have photography, disguise, law, library use, psychology, spot hidden, and one of either charm, fast talk, intimidate, or persuade. You may also pick any other skill except Cthulhu Mythos as a personal specialty. I'm gonna say, why don't we do psychology as 70, right? I know, right? I love it, dude. It's so good. We'll do psychology as 70. You guys can see that? Like, kinda? Yeah, okay. Okay, psychology is 70. You may also pick any other skill. Well, what other skills do we have? I mean, we have anthropology, appraise, archaeology. Oh, here's the art and craft. Art and craft photography. Because that's not a... Yes, okay. Photography. And then... What was the other ones? Let's see. My credit rating skill is 20%. Okay, so I'm gonna do you. What else do we have? We'll do fast talk, like I said. We have various fighting. We could do one of like the firearms, or even like brawling. We could do a various language, maybe? Law is another one. Library use is another one. Navigate? That could be good. Spot hidden. Okay. So, oh, disguise. Disguise. Law, library use, psychology, spot hidden, fast talk. Oh, what if we make... Dude, what if we make disguise as our 60, right? Yeah, let's make one disguise as one of our 60s. We'll do library use as another 60. And then we have 350, so I'll do fast talk, law, photography. No, we'll do spot hidden. Photography will be our 40. And then we have one more 40. So let's go... What do we do? Let's do... She seems to be a smart one. Not so much fighting. Let's do handgun. We'll do 40 for the other handgun. What spot hidden can help? I assume it's like passive perception from D&D, but I could be wrong. Ignore any starting values mentioned, then go to 128. What was it? What was it called? Blackwood? Blackwood Detective... 128, okay. So, you realize Silas hasn't made a stop since the incident with the tractor. The motor coach winds its way uphill. However, your thoughts are interrupted as the road crests a ridge and you are treated to a magnificent view of the vista below. Ooh. A creek snakes through the valley, breaking the rich autumn palette of the tree line. In the distance, the White Mountains rises into hazy clouds. There is no settlement, not even a cabin, as far as the eye can see. Birds drift through the treetops, and you can just make out what might be two white-tailed deer lingering by the water. Perhaps you were making a mistake by moving to the city. Could you survive on your own in this lush wilderness? You have a base ability and most skills listed in the brackets after the skill name as an investigator sheet. For instance, you have 20% climb as a base dodge in 20% in climb and a base dodge equal to half your dex. Okay. So, like, our base would be 20%, and then dodge would be half of our dex, which would be 40, etc., etc. So we're pretty dexterous. Choose 4 skills which are not your occupation skills nor Cthulhu Mythos. These are your personal interest skills. Boost each of these by 20. At this point, you may like to calculate half and 1/5 values for each skill. Remember to round down. If you're bored of calculations, you can leave the math until it becomes necessary, or if you're using the interactive PDF, it'll do it for you. What up, Zayna? Shouldn't you be wearing a trench coat and smoking plenty of cigarettes while doing something like this? I would, but there is actually a fire warning in effect in Florida. They also have a big balls warning, but, you know, they'll never find me. All right. So choose 4 skills which are not your occupation skills. All right, so we put the big boys in. So let's go navigate for 20. Let's go locksmith, right? Yeah, let's do locksmith for 20. She's gonna be like breaking into places, I think. Let's do... What else do we got? Let's go... Pertin? Stealth? 20. And then let's go... This is just so I know they're not, the class skills. I don't know, what else? History? First aid, maybe? Drive auto, that's apparently a skill. Let's do first aid for 20. Okay. There we go. So we got everything. Now we're going to 144. Oh, yeah. I'll do the fucking half the math for it right now. Okay. So, may as well do it for everything, right? So where's my 80? I forgot. Or do I start with a 70? I think it was a 70 I started with. All right. 1 at 70, 2 at 60, 3 at 40, 3 at 50, 3 at 40. Okay. Cool. So let's go. Half of 70 is 35. Half of 50 is 25. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 50 is 25. Half of 60 is 30. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 40 is 20, half of 50 is 25, half of 60 is 30, half of 20 is 10, and then half of 40 is 20. And as we've already done this quite a few times, we have a fifth of 40 is 8, a fifth of 20, oh, because we actually didn't have any 20, a fifth of 20 is 4, a fifth of 60 is 12, a fifth of 50 is 10, a fifth of 40 is 8, a fifth of 20 is 4, fifth of 20 is 4, fifth of 20 is 4, fifth of 50 is 10, fifth of 70 is 14, fifth of 20 is 4, where am I? What do I still have? A fifth of 60 is 12, and then a fifth of 50 is 10. There we go. All of our stats are set. So now we have our character be made. Cool. That is, I'm pretty sure that's the majority of the character done. We have some fun things like temporary insanity, indefinite insanity, major wounds unconscious, dying, all that good stuff. So we'll see if we can speed run to half of those things. Alright. So now we're going to 144. Ooh. And we have a picture. Look at that picture. Okay. The motor coach rattles on through the hills, and Silas lapses into silence. The sky darkens behind you, pinks tinting the cloud as the sun descends. Finally, a welcome sight comes into view, a settlement on the crest of a hill. This doesn't look like pictures you've seen of Ossipee, but perhaps you can persuade Silas to stop while you stretch your legs. Ooh, nice. Minutes later, a harsh stuttering from the engine interrupts your reverie. Silas frowns and rattles the gear stick. The motor coach falters in its ascent. Silas utters a curse you don't recognize and grinds his teeth, struggling at the wheel. You seem to inch up the hill until you reach the first buildings, low dwellings constructed from rough red stone. Silas wrestles the coach into a small bay off the road. He scrambles from his seat and makes for the engine compartment. Alright. You must now choose to make a roll against Drive Auto or Psychology. If you choose Drive Auto, you need to roll equal to or less than the skill value. If you choose Psychology, you need a hard success. This is equal roll to or less than half of the skill value, the number in the upper right box. You may attempt only one skill. So, since I put stats into Psychology, but not into Drive Auto, we're gonna go. Alright, so if you do a hard success against Psychology, you go to 162. So, what did it say? You need a hard success. This is a roll equal to or less than half the skill value. So I need to make at least a 35. If I make anything above a 35, I fail. So this is going to be... what would that be? Would that be 10 or would that be 100? No, it wouldn't make sense. We can't roll 100. So that would be 0, 0, and that would be 2. So that's pretty fucking close to almost a perfect. So we got a hard succeed against Psychology. So now we go to 162. So far I'm liking it. It's interesting. I didn't expect it to be like a literal choose your own adventure type thing, but so far this is pretty cool. We have our character, Madeline Bennery, so she's pretty much almost ready and built. You sense a falseness to Silas's actions. He's acting. Either he is not as aggravated about the breakdown as his behavior suggests, or perhaps the breakdown itself is an act. If this is a ruse to make you spend your time and money in a local shop, he will be sadly disappointed in your purchasing power. On your investigator sheet, checkmark the small box to the left of the word Psychology. If you successfully complete this venture, you will have the opportunity to learn from your experience with Silas. Bro, I've been checking every single one of these boxes. Oh shit. Hell yes, she's broke. Okay, so I'm gonna put a line here because I thought I was supposed to check every single one of them. But, great. Okay. Anyways, go to 194. Silas, I knew you were acting from the start. Okay, 194. Silas opens the engine compartment. Silas opens the engine compartment open and sticks his head inside, okay? The hot metal pops and sizzles. He pokes at various components, then withdraws and wipes his brow, smeared with dark grease. I ain't sure what's wrong. Might be the oil pressure. Might be something knocked off kilter when we took that spill. Can't do much about it until the engine cools neither. And with the light failing, I reckon we'll be here for the night. It fucking better not be. He wipes his hand on a rag. The shadows from your surroundings are already long and the air is chilly. You feel stiff from your journey, and the night in the rickety coach sounds unappealing. Silas sees your dismay. This here's Emberhead, miles from any place. I only come through twice a week. The folks here are good people. May Ledbetter keeps a spare room. She'll look after you. Up the alley, turn right, first house on the left. He scratches his cheek, looks again into the engine compartment, and spits on the ground. Meet me back here at 8 in the morning. We'll see how we stand. Ooh, he's suspicious and not right. Very surprising for a tabletop game. Alright, so what are we going to do? We can look for May Ledbetter's house, so we can possibly go get rest. We can ask Silas where he will spend the night. Or we can challenge Silas about the breakdown. I feel Maddie's pretty bright, and I don't think she should challenge this random dude in the middle of fucking nowhere. This being the 1920s and all, and she doesn't yet have a gun. So I say we go look for May Ledbetter's house. Ask him where you're staying? Okay, we're going to ask him where you're staying. 251. Alright. You ask about Silas's plans. He gives the engine a sour glance before answering. I got acquaintances here in the village. Reckon one of them owes me a favor. Enough for bed and breakfast in any case. He stares at his grubby hands. Probably won't stretch to a hot bath. You don't seem to have a lot of options. You fetch your case from the back of the motor coach. The last thing you need is for all your worldly possessions to disappear into some stranger's hovel overnight. Alright, well, we're going to 267 either way. I got my eye on you, Silas. If you disappear in the morning, I'll be very cross. So, you drag your cases between the sullen buildings. You feel surprisingly wary considering you've spent all day sitting down. Silas's directions lead you to a modest dwelling with a slate roof. A nameplate reads Ledbetter, and underneath it, a sign in neat copper plate reads Lodging Room. The lane around you is gloomy, but a lamp flickers in the window. Goddamn. When you speak a lot, you end up fucking yawning a lot, man. A breeze chills your face. You're not about to begin your new life by sleeping on the streets. You rap on the weather-beaten door. Not gonna make a horrible rap joke. We're going to 4. We're already back to the start. After a moment, you hear footsteps inside the house. A bolt is drawn back and the wooden door swings open. A figure with loose curls and a rough-looking house dress peers at you. Her gaze takes in your traveling suit and your case. Her voice has a slight Irish tilt. Hello, should I take it as you're looking for a room for the night? You inquire as to her rates, suppressing a grimace. As far as you've seen, the village does not offer you many alternatives. Oh, you'll find it very reasonable. You look tired, I'm May. Come inside and we'll talk over a cup of tea. The Ledbetter house feels cramped with a low ceiling and simple fittings, but is well kept and a cheerful fire crackles in the grates. The aroma of the tea is soothing and the cup warms your fingers. Have you come to Emberhead for the festival? Asks May. Okay, so are we going to explain what happens with Silas and the coach, or are we going to ask about the festival? I mean, when you say something like that, you can't expect us to not ask, right? I'm going to say we ask about the festival, honestly. It's probably going to be a festival of fish people, but we'll see. Well now, I suppose the festival is about the only reason folks come to Emberhead. I thought you'd maybe come to study it or take photographs. Well, it's not tomorrow night, but the night after. I suppose it looks very strange to a passerby. May tops up your tea. The spout chinks against your cup. We've got the beacon, you see. One night every year there's a torchlit procession and we light the beacon on the cliffs. You've never seen the like of it. They say it keeps the spirits of the village alive for another year. It's a celebration. A celebration. A reawakening festival for the madness, probably. She trails off for a moment and blinks. Ah, but you didn't come here to listen to me blathering. You must be hungry. I can rustle you up a bit of stew. How'd that be? You ask again about her rates, and May names a price so low you accept without hesitation. The room is small but comfortable, and the stew is dark and hearty. After dinner, you have a couple of hours before your usual bedtime. Alright. So, we found out that there's a festival coming. We're going to light a beacon to celebrate something that she doesn't want to talk about. So we can talk to May some more, we can walk around and get our bearings, or we can just turn in early for the night. I don't know, man. I'm between talking to May and getting our bearings. I'm gonna say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Or whatever it is that Arthur sings about. I'm gonna say, let's go get our bearings. So 75. Alright, 75. Ooh, I don't like this already. May's brow creases when you announce your intention to take a stroll. Mind how you go. Emberhead's surrounded by cliffs, and we don't want your fancy we don't have your fancy street lamps here. Take the lantern and watch your step. Outside, you see what she means. The sky is overcast and only a few glimmers of moonlight peek through the clouds. Without the heavy lantern you would be walking in near total darkness. Fuck that. You cannot hope to get an overview of the village tonight. May Street's a narrow passage hemmed in by squat, dark dwellings. At the end, however, it opens up. A wide thoroughfare leads off to your right. A crude sign names it Silbury Street. To the left, a few yards away, your light picks out the crooked posts of a simple fence, and beyond that, the ground drops away in darkness. You take a couple of steps closer, you can see nothing. Air from below cools your face. Then some instinct makes you look around. I don't like that. 86. An ink-black figure stands in the road about 20 yards behind you. It stares at you. You form the sudden impression that it'll run at you and throw you over the cliff edge. This is unsettling. Seeing it has been spotted, the figure slips down an alley. So are we going to return to the safety of the Ledbetter house, or are we going to fucking go charge the dark figure? I don't like my odds with either. Some instinct is upsetting incredibly. And I'd say since we're already being unsettled, we should probably... What would the PI do? Oh, the PI would absolutely go confront the dark figure. Wait. 121. She yells out, "Hey!" and then starts off. As you approach, the figure takes a pace back, then another. It slips down an alley between two buildings. To catch your target, you must make a track roll. If you succeed, go to 141. If you fail, go to 130. A track roll. So we have 10%. So I probably should have put tracking since I was a fucking PI, but whatever. I have to make a 10%. I have to make a 10. That is a 60, so I fail. That did not go well. That's fine. Hindsight's 2020. Yeah, we'll do it again next time. I didn't even think about it. Alright, we fail. Go to 130. Hey! As she keeps trying to run through. The figure moves fast with almost silent steps. You were hampered with a heavy lantern in an unfamiliar environment. You emerge in the alley into a dusty courtyard, can detect no sign of your quarry. You scratch around for a few minutes, but the figure is gone. Never said you were a good PI? That's very true. It seems unwise to continue your stroll through unknown dark streets while this threatening presence is abroad. You head back to the Ledbetter house. May lets you in and settles back in your chair. Soon she begins to yawn. I believe I'll turn in. When would you like your breakfast? Preferably 6 a.m. I wish to awaken early so that I can go back to my coach. 63. As May stands, you hear a clunk behind you. You look over your shoulders, but all you can see is a wooden door securely closed. I don't like that at all, May tuts. The young lady of the house should have been listening to us. Ruth, come and greet our guest. There's a short pause, then the door creaks open. Two wide eyes peer at you from the gap between tousled hair and a rough nightgown. What say you? The eyes blink. Pleased to meet you. Now get back to bed. The door closes again. How fast the unease starts, right? We've gone an hour. How long is this playlist? If it's cool with you, I'm just going to reset the playlist. Cool with y'all? Yeah, there we go. Oh, actually, that does not inspire hope. That does not inspire hope as a sound. Oh my god. Ah, my daughter Ruth. 10 years this summer. She's a delight and a torment all in one. Don't worry, she sleeps in with me. She'll not disturb you. Good night now. You return to your room. It's a little chilly, but you're too tired to worry about lighting the fire. The sheets are clean and the bed soon warms up. The silence outside is strange after living in a town for so long, but you soon drop off. It is very fitting. If it's kind of quiet for me, I know you guys can, like, barely hear it. Oh. Oh, I like it. Now go to 154. All right, so we're an hour in. How are people feeling? Honestly, I'm loving the hell out of this. It's actually good volume. Excellent, thank you. You dream of fire in the grate, coruscating colors shimmering through the dancing tongues of flame. At first they are tiny, almost microscopic, but they grow and grow until a kaleidoscopic inferno spills from the fireplace, spreading across the floor and up the sheets. Yes, I am liking it. You wake with a start. Daylight glints through the curtains. You get up and examine the grate, blinking the sleep from your eyes. It is quite cold. If you've taken any damage, you may heal 1 point. Oh, cool. Back from your night's sleep. Okay. So we are currently back up to 9 height points. Excellent. Now we're going to 166. The thing that I like about this, like say it's here, it says it goes to 166. The page, it only goes up to 161. So everything is at least on another page, so you can't be looking back and forth constantly. I really do like that. May seems to have no running water, but has supplied some in a ceramic jug. You freshen up at a washstand and go in. She cooks a hearty breakfast and leaves you in place to eat. At about 7:30, you're paid up, packed, and ready to go. You bid May goodbye, and she wishes you the best on your new career in Arkham. And of course, we didn't, tell her that we're a PI. You see, I got a new job as a writer, and I aims to do just that. I hope I've been doing an Irish accent this whole time. I don't know, dude. If you succeeded at a skill roll last night and wish to investigate the results further, go to 178. Yeah, well, I didn't, so we're going to 192. You're already tired of your heavy bags. Hopefully Silas has repaired the motor coach. You can resume your long journey. A sourpuss he might be, but the old driver seems to understand his vehicle well enough. I want to rename him to Yavor. You pause to check your watch, still 20 minutes early, and round the final corner. My dice are cursed. These are the dice that came from the game. Actually, hold on. I actually have dice based off this game. I actually have actual Cthulhu dice. The problem is, they're incredibly fucking hard to read. Like, that's the little logo. But they're hard as shit to read, so I don't use them. Where are we? The motor coach is gone. Great. You put your bags down, search the area, trekking up and down the slopes and around corners. At the edge of the village, you track the long road back as it winds across the hills. 8 o'clock comes and goes. There's no coach to be seen. A passing villager notices your bag. Looking for the bus. I heard him take off at first light. He's due back in 3 or 4 days. If you need a place to stay, may let a bed rents a room. The man raises his hat to you and strolls into the village. You curse Silas under your breath. Perhaps he went for parts, but you wonder if the old goat's stranded you here. Son of a bitch, Yavor. Silas. 218. Alright, well, that's just great. We're gonna go back to May, I guess. May is doing laundry. I assume this is a picture of May. This seems to be a picture of May Ledbetter. So there you go, if you want a picture to the face. Knew he's gonna be a lame ass, I know. Yavor always is. May is doing laundry, and you look surprised to see you again. Oh, I forgot something. When you explain the situation, she offers to store your bags while you try to arrange alternative transport. Is she built like a linebacker? I know, that's the type of woman you want in your life. try to arrange alternative transport, you are grateful to relinquish the load. Nobody here's anything like a car. She strokes her chin and narrows her eyes. Maybe you could find somebody with a horse and a cart for your bags. I could ask around later. Try Mr. Winters at the village hall. He'll know if anyone will. Or ask among the artisans. Their workshops are first left on Silbury Street. She reaches over and squeezes your wrist. Don't worry. I won't see you sleeping in the street, money or no money. You thank May and turn to face the village. May is a bro. Go to 6. Alright. Okay, so I assume this is the church for Mr. Winters, I think is what the name was. You wander the streets of Emberhead without any particular destination in mind. The village is built on a relatively flat upland with splendid views. To the north, the hazy tips of the White Mountains reach for the heavens. To the south, the sparkling waters of Lake Winnipesaukee touch the horizon. The village itself takes less than 5 minutes to cross from edge to edge. You arrive on the winding road to the west. The only other road leads to the south, following a lower ridge of land as it turns east. In the southwest of the village, an open grassy space borders a ruined church, its graveyard cresting the cliffs. To the northeast, the 3 main thoroughfares meet at a raised black metal structure. It looms stark against the blue sky. Odd idea for... Should I upload these videos in audio format as a fucking podcast, and we can just do a solo RPG podcast? Think more on that. Alright, so we have a bunch of different options. We have a lot of fucking options. Okay. That's an idea, actually. Think on a name for that. So, we ask about transport at the local general store. We can seek out the village hall. We can walk down to the lower level and check out the eastern road. We can examine the large metal structure. We can explore the church, or we can look for local people with their own transport needs. I'm gonna say... I mean, we have a lot of options. I don't want to examine the large metal... Actually, as a PI would probably either examine the large metal structures or explore the church, right? But as a PI, you would think they'd be pretty good at gathering information, so the local general store is actually a really safe bet. I think we're going to go with the local general store. I'm trying to think how Maddie would actually go. So, 16. You guys can't see shit with the light there. That's fine. Yeah. The general store is on a corner. Whatever. The general store is on a corner beside the main road, just before it plunges to the south. The shopkeeper is a brisk, immense lady with a starched apron and strong shoulders. She looks at your unfamiliar face. Transport? There's a motor coach come through twice a week. Missed it? Truck brings in my supply every second Tuesday. Is not due until next week. She shrugs. It seems Emberhead is content to keep its distance from the outside world. Great. You have enough money to buy 1 or 2 inexpensive everyday items here. Note them down on your investigator sheet. Remember, the year is 1927. The store stocks no weapons except a dusting hunting rifle, which you may purchase if you want. Does that mean we need the hunting rifle? Oh, cool. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of, like, backstory and inventory and all that shit. Alright, let's go... Not yet. No, probably not. What would be in a general store in 1927, aside from segregation and really bad ideals of people? I'm gonna say... gear and possessions. I'm just gonna put down everyday items. Because, I don't know, cough syrup? Oh, cocaine. Okay, cool. Let's do questionable medicine. We'll do questionable medicine, and we'll do... I don't know, probably not a fucking soap bar. I don't know, a hairbrush. Yeah, we'll put a hairbrush, sure. The questionable medicine may or may not be for the ghosts in your blood. Alright, then go to number 25. You're beginning to get your bearings in Emberhead. Would you like to explore some more? You may choose an option from below. Do not repeat a previous choice. Once you've tried 4 or before that, you're ready to move on. Lantern oil? That's a cool idea. Okay, I'll grab lantern oil. I do have that big lantern. Alright, I threw lantern oil on there. Okay, let's go to the church. Let's go to the church. Let's go catch a lurch. Whatever. You cross the street towards the church. As you glance to your left, your gaze aligns on the large metal structure. Something bothers you about its positioning. I don't like that. And I think that's actually a painting of the large metal structure, which we might get to next. This, something bothers you about its positioning. You back up and look again. Yes! Emberhead's central thoroughfare points directly at the structure. This seems too precise to be a coincidence. Ah, see? PI skills are fucking flaring now. You press on and draw into the shadow of the church. The building is in a sorry state. The top of the steeple is missing, a ragged gash of splintered boards marking its absence, and the boards beneath it have collapsed. It appears to have torn through the roof of the main building as it fell. Only the back half is still intact. The white paint, which once covered the church, has yellowed and peeled. It seems safe enough to explore the rear section. Old pews are stacked against the wall, choked with mildew. Most of the windows are broken. You guess this church has been disused for about 20 years. There is little more to interest you. Make a ride roll. You may have a bonus die. Roll the tens percentage die twice and take the lower result. My ride skill is 5. I have to get below a 5. 69, while nice, is not a... If this is a 0... Okay, no, we obviously failed. Okay, great. We're doing fucking peachy right now. If you succeed, go to 46, otherwise go to 25. Okay, so we tried to go explore the church, couldn't figure it out. We went to go to the general store. The lady said, hey, sorry, you're shit out of luck for at least another week. And so we're gonna go explore the large metal structure, I guess. 57. Ah, yes, perfect ominous music to explore a large metal structure. Let me know if you guys want. When we try it next time, I'll try and see if I can make this zoomed in a little bit. The problem is it doesn't zoom in at 1080p, and without like an actual DSLR camera, I can't really do that. You walk up the approach. The approach. Okay. The most central of the village's major streets. It's called the approach. You know that's going to be bad. It points directly at the odd metal structure. As you emerge from the shade of the nearby buildings, you are greeted by a most magnificent panorama spread from the north to the southeast. The last colors of fall tint the hills in a sleepy gold. The structure, by contrast, is made from uncompromising iron singed black. It supports an immense curved platform at the level of the head. Further struts snake out to a central point, like that picture we just had. It looks like they may have been some kind of sculpture at one point, but are now twisted and melted beyond recognition. An older gentleman passes, looking up to you with rheumy eyes. Are you here for the festival? He asks. That's the beacon. When they light it, it's night after next. You'll be able to see it 10 miles away. He gives a little nod of satisfaction, then moves on, leaning on his walking stick. Now you notice bundles of wood tied and stacked against the buildings nearby. Perhaps this festival would be an interesting diversion, but you really must head to Arkham as soon as possible. Make a spot hidden roll. Finally, a skill I have, kind of. Make a spot hidden roll. So I think is a normal roll. A regular roll is just my skill. Okay, so I don't have to do anything special. So I have to get less than a 50. That is a 39. Hey, we finally passed a goddamn roll. If you succeed, go to 69. Nice. As you walk away from the iron structure, you notice something strange about the construction of the village. All the wooden dwellings are concentrated in the west and southwest. To the east and northeast, closer to the beacon, the buildings are formed from dark brick and clay. Does this mean that the settlement began at the beacon and spread west? You may now mark the small box behind the spot hidden skill. So I assume 10 rolls in, finally a win. So hey, we had 2. We had a psychology one. I'm assuming that this is our way of getting, like, proficiency in skills, right? That's my guess. I don't know if that's correct, but that seems to be how it's going. All right, now go to 79. You return to the road and resume your walk east. At least you hope you are still heading east. The curves of the road become disorienting when the light begins to fade. Clouds hide the stars. It seems you will not reach another settlement before dark, and you feel weariness on your legs. The air is much cooler now. Why would we walk into the darkness? You're a PI, girl. Make a hard listen. The hard has to be half the skill. My listen skill is 20, so I have to get a 10 or less. That's a 36, so no. If you succeed, go to 240. If you fail, you're stabbed in the chest. No. Go to 234. Alright. I don't know what that dude is. I'm not even going to look at him. Another cry splits the gloom. It is the same unearthly call. Wait, what? Oh, I'd say 239, right? Wait, what? Was it 234? What the fuck did I just say? 234? Now go to 25. What? Where the hell? You may mark the spot behind blah 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 blah. Now you go to 25. Oh, okay. So, all right. Once you've tried 4 options, okay, so this is 3. So we didn't actually get there yet. Okay, so that was my bad. We can walk down to the lower level and check out the eastern road, I guess. We can seek out the village hall. I say we'll seek out the village hall. All right, you gotta pay attention to when you're doing all this. You get turned around pretty easily. The village hall backs against a cliff to the east end of Silbury Street. It's the largest building you've seen so far in Emberhead. It is, however, locked and shuttered. You walk around it, peering through gaps in the shutters. There seems to be one large room, presumably for community meetings, and a smaller annex that serves as an office and archive. One of the windows is bricked up, much like Maddie. Make your own story randomizer? Yeah, that's how you do a Call of Cthulhu randomizer. You just roll the dice and just pick whatever it does. Back at the main door, you can see no posted opening hours. Mr. Winters doesn't open up mornings this time of year, says a gray-garbed woman passing by. Best come back this afternoon. You ask whether the office has a telegraph. Don't know. She shrugged. Who would we call? Okay. Good point. Alright, so 25. So we are done. We've done 4 options, and out of the 4 options, we only succeeded a roll on 1, which is great. So we are going to 3 now. Your morning exertions have left you hungry. You roam the streets of Emberhead looking for sustenance. There's nothing resembling the busy cafes of your hometown or anything that you might call a restaurant. And it is beginning to look like you may have to get supplies from the general store when May Ledbetter comes down the street with a girl trailing in her wake. That must be Ruth, her daughter. As she notices you, she races past her mother and approaches you with a smile. This is a different Ruth from the shy creature of last night. As she reaches you, she stops and stretches her arms up in celebration. She looks up into your eyes. Abruptly, the smile drops from her face and she looks several years older. Get out before the festival, she hisses. Get out! She blinks hard, then scuttles back towards her mother. Huh? Cool, we got a grudge girl. May approaches, wrapping an arm around her daughter's shoulder. She smiles. How are you getting on? Have you found transport? Startled, you explain the frustrations of the situation. I'd try Mr. Winters in the village hall. He's always in the afternoon. You'll be hungry by now? Help yourself to any food in the house. The door's not locked. You glance at Ruth where she has squirreled herself between her mother's legs. Her eyes implore you to silence. Okay. Yeah, obviously. No, she's a PI, but she's smart because the options are ask Ruth about what she said, ask May about what Ruth said, or if you say nothing. As a PI, I'd probably want to ask Ruth. Right? Kind of like a, hey, honey, what did you just say? So 9. You crouch down and ask Ruth what she meant. Ruth, dear, what did you mean by that? It's scary at the festival. It's bright and hot and the flames go all over. Her face and voice are both childlike. This abrupt shift is disturbing. You suppose all children do unfathomable things. May rolls her eyes and tosses her daughter's hair. Ruth looks at the ground. And yeah, she was shut down by her mom. Congrats. You called it, actually. I should probably put chat up on screen, but I'll worry about that for another stream. 22. You take your leave of the Leadsbetters and head towards their house. The door opens easily. In the low kitchen, you make a meal from stodgy bread and leftover stew. A little window offers a view of the mountains. If you learn one thing this morning, it's that Ember's Head streets hold little to occupy the visitor from out of town. There's still about 5 hours of daylight left. You could take some provisions of the bare essentials from your luggage and set out in the hope of reaching another settlement before dark. Or you could ask advice from Mr. Winters. I don't think leaving... So... On the one hand, Maddie does need to get to Arkham. On the other hand, Maddie is really interested about this festival now. So we're going to go back to the village hall. The village hall overlooks the lower north ridge of the village. You walk along Silbury Street to find it, conscious of the oppressive black metal structure framed at the end of the road. The shutters of the hall are open and some windows left ajar. There is no knocker, but a little bell over the entrance tinkles as you push the front door. Inside, a sturdy door to your right is marked private. To your left, an opening leads through to a bright room. You take a few steps inside. Benches line the walls, and there are 2 notice boards mounted between the windows. As a PI, you know she's going to knock on the closed door. If it says private, make note of the door. I mean, we could too, but I think she's definitely going to... no, you're right. Because she wouldn't want to initially alert anyone. So we'll examine the notice boards first. Alright. The floorboards creak beneath you as you open the room. You feel a slight spring in your step. Perhaps this room is used as a gymnasium for the village children. One notice board appears to be for the adults of the community and one for the children. The former looks neglected, featuring handwritten advertisements for household items and a yellow note about telegraph pricing. There's nothing about the village. Very, very true. There's nothing about the festival. The children's notice board has a schedule for weekly creche services and a number of paintings obviously done by the children themselves. Most are incoherent, though colorful. As best you can tell, they depict fireworks or perhaps the tale of Joseph from the Book of Genesis. One has a lost pin and hangs upside down. It shows a giant bird attacking Emberhead. Or it might simply be the artist has yet to master the subtleties of scale. Okay, sure. Like the gun in the first scene being used in the third. Yeah, true. Very true. Make a spot hidden roll. If you succeed, go to 30. Do you think we'll make a spot hidden? We have to get a 50 or lower. That is a 33, so hey, the dice are finally working in my favor. See? Being a PI. Very good. Very good. Alright, so 30. Maddie is pretty fucking sharp. She may not be sharp, but she's pretty damn sharp. As the afternoon sun hits the floor, you notice something curious. The boards under the windows are newer than the boards in the center of the floor. The frames also show signs of having been replaced in the recent past. Perhaps a rain leaked in and rotted the wood. You may checkmark the small box beside the spot hidden skill. Okay, so I mean, I've already checkmarked that. So I assume that's various ways to find proficiencies for the skills. The one thing I really like about this is that we can make a bunch of characters and explore this town and see so many different things. Like, these are cool. Dude, there's like 10 of these, I think. I want to get every one, and we're eventually going to do all of them. All right, we're going to go to 37. The door scrapes behind you. A middle-aged... This entire story is huge. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's got, what, 270 options, so there we go. The door scrapes behind you. A middle-aged, bespectacled gentleman appears in the doorway. May I help you? You explain you're visiting on May Ledbetter's recommendation. Ah, well, I'm Clyde Winters. I'm not sure I can help you, but would you care for some coffee? I'm partial to a cup in the afternoon. He gestures to the open door behind him. This seems like a worthwhile opportunity, and you are a little thirsty. So, coffee from an old Irish man. That's cool. I doubt we're gonna get through this story tonight. So, I mean, I think we could definitely do part 2 of the Alone Against the Flames if you guys are down for that next week. All right, so you step through to the door marked private. The other side of the village hall is in marked contrast to the public space. The room is yeah, I'm so down. The room is compact, lined with shelves of books and file alcoves. One corner is reserved for a tiny pantry and what is presumably a water closet. You study Mr. Winters as he fills the percolator. Although thin on top, his hair is oiled and neatly swept back. His suit is a sober affair and well-tailored, even if the cut's a little old-fashioned. A lesser man working alone might have loosened his bow tie for comfort. On the desk against the opposite wall, you notice what looks like a telegraph set. All right. So there's a telegraph, and we can either ask the telegraph immediately, or we can make small talk with Mr. Winters first. One, you're gonna have to do a few runs. Do it, dude. This kit you can get on Amazon. It's like $30. It comes with 3 initial kits. It comes with a whole bunch of like extra papers and paraphernalia and stuff. It's really good. Honestly, I am very surprised by this. I've been wanting to get into Call of Cthulhu for a while, and like this is really, really freaking cool. To make small talk with Mr. Winters, that's what we're definitely doing. And I mean, there's also adventures for multiple people, so you can play it too. You could, you know, if you want, you could have your kids, choose for you. The pot begins to gurgle as you exchange pleasantries with Mr. Winters. So, how has life been here in Emberhead? Emberhead? Emberhead. Living here, it's a trade-off, like so much in life. He looks past you at a high shelf. I could wish for access to a proper library, of course, but I know myself well enough. I'm strictly a dabbler. And the cities... His face just winks in distaste. Too many people, everybody rushing and shouting. We have a special place here in Emberhead, and someone must accept responsibility for keeping it so. That was me father before me, and now the duty falls to me. I hope everyone's Irish in this town. He lifts his chin and straightens up. This evening, as the sun set, looks out to the landscape around the village. We have peace here, halfway to the stars. Are we not privileged? Is it not worth the hardships we must accept? He looks at you speculatively. This seems like a good time to talk about the telegraph. Go to page 50, or go to 56. The telegraph, Much as we value our isolation, we do need the link sometimes. You're hoping to send a message? I must apologize, the line's been down for 2 weeks. I reported the fault, but of course, they're not so speedy when the problem lies in a rural area. I'm expecting a repair the day after next. I do appreciate how frustrating this must be. The coach is doing, 3 days? But I think he's going west. Perhaps he might engage a wagon. One of the farmers might. You explain that you've asked a few of the residents already, but to no avail. I tell you what. Winters pours you a steaming cup of coffee. The dark liquid smells rich and strong. When the repair crew arrives, I'll ask them to take you back with them. How would that be? They might want $1 or $2 to grease the wheels. The day after tomorrow, it's less than ideal, but it's the first real opportunity you've had. So, grab some water real quick. Definitely not coffee. It's 8 in It's 8 at night. We're definitely not doing coffee. So just to straight thank Mr. Winters and leaves, go to 180, to ask about his library, which, I mean, we have library use as a pretty high skill, so we're going to go library, 62. You make a small but flattering remark about a couple of volumes on his shelf. Mr. Winters blushes with pleasure. Ah, I haven't read any of those books you're looking at. You have? I wouldn't mind it. You seem to have a cozy little collection. Well, of course, they're not my personal collection. They belong to the village, she says. But I did select most of the recent items. This is the community's library, you see. I put up the private sign to stop people just wandering in for meetings in the other room. But this is really a public space. You scan the shelves. There's a sparse but respectable collection on mathematics and the sciences, passable selections on history and art, and a shelf of literature. He has a few lowbrow novels tucked in the corner with tatty copies of Bizarre Tales magazine. Quality does not always equate to popularity, I'm afraid. If I remember right, Bizarre Tales was the magazine that Lovecraft initially was writing his stories in back in the late teens, early 20s, I think. If I remember correctly. To take the time for some research in the library, go to 68. To leave while it's still light outside, go to 180. Nah, dude, we're gonna fucking go researching some shit. 68. Winters is happy for you to spend the rest of the afternoon in the study and offers you an upright but comfortable chair. You have enough time to pursue one line of research in depth. Take your time. She's a learner, absolutely. So are we going the history of the area, learn about the festival, read something from the sciences, or read some of the weird fiction? As interesting as I know, as much as I know she would want to, it'd be fun to read the weird fiction, I like to get into the character, and she would definitely want to know about the history of the area, which you're right. It's either that or the festival, but we'll do the history. There is no single book on the history of the area, and you have to put together a picture from the variety of slim specialized volumes. There seems to be suggestion that the hill upon which Emberhead is built was a place of reverence for the Abnaki or the Abenaki, a native tribe whose name means people of the Dawnlands. The tribe made an annual journey to the hill. The tribe made an annual journey to the hill. As the leaves turn the deepest blue of sunset. Okay. There are some references to sun rituals performed in the area, but these are not convincingly attributed. The region was caught up in King George's War, and in 1746, British colonial forces counterattacked in response to a raid by the Wabanaki Confederacy, which included the Abenaki. The king's men gave no quarter, and the few survivors among the natives were driven from the area permanently. There seems no confirmed date when Emberhead itself was founded, although there are accounts of settlers on the hill from shortly after the end of the Revolutionary War. So, this is 1927, the Revolutionary War is what, in the fucking late 1700s? So it's been here for a while? Or is Revolutionary War in the late 18s? No, it's 17... I don't fucking remember my history. 1750 something, I think? Whatever. Something like that. There is... If you noticed, they're talking about native tribes. That's also a pretty big theme. You gotta think, Lovecraft wrote a lot of this shit in the 1900s, 1910s. I think it was 1910, 1920s. And he was enamored by natives. Because, it's like the quote-unquote only alien thing around. Which is, it's like a shitty way to view things, but he also had a very shitty view of a lot of people. Go to 99. The afternoon wears on. You have not quite finished your reading when Winter glances out the window and stands up. He clears his throat. Make a credit rating roll. If you succeed, go to 111. If you fail, go to 105. I still am not sure what credit rating is as a skill. Or, what credit rating is. I thought credit rating initially was, money, but on the back of this sheet, there actually is, an actual wealth tab. So, also credit rating we can't select, and we just got it from the get-go. So ours is 20, so we have to roll a 20 or less to succeed. That is a 76, which is higher than 20, in case Yeah, okay. In case you're like 4.5 listening to this for some reason. If you fail, go to 105. There's a bear in the library now. There's a bear, though. I'm afraid I got some errands to run before dark, so I must close the library for today. I do hope you return tomorrow afternoon if you're so inclined. You leave the building with Winters, waiting as he looks up. As he locks up. You thank him for the coffee, and then access to the library. I do gotta do a D100 to make things easier. That's funny. I have a shit ton of dice. I have 0 D100s. Thank you, Mr. Winters. I do appreciate my accessing your library. I would love to check out some more of the history. You leave the building with blah, 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 blah. You hope to be... He disappears off down an alley. You hope to be away from the village before tomorrow afternoon, but it's good to know that there's a place you can occupy yourself. If nothing else. No, I like the percentile die. They're cool. Go to 180. Also, since it hasn't shown yet, but there is what Emberhead looks like. So there's the bacon and the approach. There's a general school, the village hall. That's where we were. And then here is the Ledbetter rooming house up here. Oh, there you go. We have a nice little map to show it. 180. As the light fades, you return to the Ledbetter house and eat a light supper. May is unusually taciturn. Ruth's eyes flicker to yours several times during the meal. There's an urgency there you cannot quite interpret. Afterwards, May ushers the girl into her room. You have been in Emberhead for barely one whole day. You already couldn't feel confined by it, both geographically and socially. The evening seems to offer little. So we can do some stargazing. We could try to speak to Ruth. And if you have a previous appointment, this is the time to follow it up. Which we don't have a previous appointment. We haven't run into anything for that. She's gonna definitely want to try to talk to Ruth. 100%. She's very inquisitive. And I mean, like, it's a young girl in a small town. She doesn't want to make sure, that the girl's being abused or anything like that. So, 138. In time, May returns to the kitchen and busies herself clearing up. To speak to Ruth, you will need to get May to leave for a short while. You help with the dishes, try to think of some ruse. In time, an idea comes and you ask about Silas and his friends in the village. May narrows her eyes. He knows Troy on the other side of town. Not sure I'd call them friends, more like an old feuding couple. But he probably spent last night at Troy's place. You asked May if she could visit Troy and ask if Silas mentioned any plans to return. May looks dubious. Right now, she asks. Without looking at your investigator sheet, decide how best to influence May. By appealing to her emotions, by explaining how further delay threatens your career, or by trying to rush her into compliance. Make a charm, persuade, or fast talk roll. If you succeed, go to 145. So I'm not going to look at my sheet, but I do remember that I took fast talk, so I'm going to use fast talk. And our fast talk skill is at a 50, so it's not too bad. 20. So yes, we won. 145. Well, I suppose it'll only take a few minutes. May fetches a coat and heads out into the night. You give her time to get clear, rap on the bedroom door. Nothing comes but silence, then feet pat across the floor, the door opens a few inches. Ruth's eyes stare through the gap, glancing from left to right. You explain her mother has left the house and ask what's been bothering her. Those eyes flick up to stare at you. I don't like this. No, we did pretty good on fast talk. I mean, she's a PI, so she's gonna need to be able to get in some quick words and explain some shit when she needs to. It's tomorrow, she whispers. Same as every year. They took my da. They'll take you if you let them. The conviction in her eyes is chilling. You press her. Who is she talking about? All of them, everyone. They've been watching since you got here. You're marked. 1 year. When I'm older, they'll take me. Jesus. You hear footsteps approaching from outside. Ruth's eyes flash and the bedroom door slams. You turn back to drying the dishes. May enter and removes her coat. That man is a waste of time, and heads through the door. You may checkmark the small box beside the skill you used. Okay, so we got fast talk now. So yes. Now we know that we're in danger. Supposedly. I mean, it's what the girl said. Kids, of course, you know, she's still pretty skeptical, but she has, I'm assuming she's dealt with some type of infidelity. It did with the character build. She's dealt with infidelity and other things in the past, so she knows that, you know, kids sometimes have a you know, like a kernel of truth to them. So, the familiar surroundings of your guest's bedroom are, right? That's what it was? It was 57, yeah. The familiar surroundings of your guest room are becoming constrictive. The neat bed, small wardrobe, and dressing mirror have the feeling of a prison cell about them. What are you still doing here in Emberhead? Your new life is elsewhere. You lie on your bed and stare at a small crack in the ceiling. You turn over the day's events, thinking about the little details you spotted. You're certainly wary from the elevation and the fresh air, but do you still feel safe here? Let yourself go to sleep, 224. If you stay awake, 230. She's definitely tired, but also she definitely is wanting. After a kid tells you that you're marked, I mean, she probably can't sleep. So we'll go to 230. Sleep presses down on you. You blink it back and sit up, trying to think through the situation. Everything in Emberhead seems to be working to stop you leaving. Perhaps the answer is to strike out at first light, to walk as far and fast as you can. You can always return for your possessions, and if you lose them, you have nothing so precious it could not be replaced. A tiny creak draws your attention to the other side of the room. Slowly, almost silently, the doorknob is turning. Ooh. To grab it and wrench the door open, or to pretend to be asleep. I'm gonna say pretend to be asleep, because, you know, she wants to know what the fuck is going on, man. Like, this is just getting weird, right? So we're gonna go 254. We're actually getting out the farthest here. You slide onto the bed and lie on your side, eyes closed. The hinges creak as the door opens. There's a long pause. A footfall sounds inside the room, then another. The steps are careful and feminine. You give it a moment, then open one eye a crack. May crouches with her back to you. She is fiddling with something in the fireplace. To confront May, go to 260. To wait and see what happens, do 266. Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. She's very curious, right? Like, I think she wants to see what happens. Definitely. I think we're definitely gonna do 266. Absolutely. Curious, so am I. Yeah, seriously. Another few moments, May glances around at you. Then you hear the soft scratch of a match being lit. She applies it to something in the grate and tiptoes from the room. Once you hear the bedroom door, you creep to the grate. A small mound of black powder, no bigger than a thimble, is burning there. It gives off heady fumes. You may make a hard botany roll. Otherwise, you may extinguish the powder and go to sleep, or stay awake through the night, or you may relax and breathe the fumes out of curiosity. I think she definitely would want to extinguish the powder, but definitely not relax and breathe the fumes in. That seems incredibly suspicious. Or stay awake through the night. I think she'd honestly stay awake through the night. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to do stay awake through the night. You stare out the window and watch as the sun reaches the horizon, bathing the village in sickly orange. It's been a long night and you feel stiff and irritable. You rub your eyes. A few minutes later, you hear May bustling in the kitchen, then the front door opens and closes. All right, make a con roll. If you fail, your skills today suffer a penalty. Roll a 10 percentage die twice and take the higher result. This not applies to luck, sanity, or damage rolls. Alright, my con is 50, so I have to get less than a 50. That's a 61. That sucks. No, just like you stayed awake the whole night. So that's why you're rolling con. So unfortunately, we are going to be incredibly tired. So we're rolling at everything with disadvantage for today. That's not good. Because the thing is, you got to remember, like, this isn't like D&D where we're always going on, like, fantastical adventures. For the most part, you're a normal person wandering through the world and trying to survive. So she's just some chick that is on her way to her new life, and she just got stuck in a bad situation. So we'll go 64. The Ledbetter kitchen is empty, although bread and eggs have been laid out for your breakfast. There's a note from May explaining she's taken Ruth out for a few hours. If you were involved in a fight in the village last night and want to investigate, go to 70. Otherwise, go to 78. So we were not involved in a fight, so we're going to 78. You make a quiet circuit of the village, pausing in unobtrusive places to watch the villagers. It's rather busy for the time in the morning. Yawning locals stream back and forth along the roads, carrying bundles of split logs on the site of what you've heard referred to as the beacon. You see two figures hurried up in the superstructure arranging the wood. The festival bonfire will be most impressive. But do you intend to see it? To stay to see it. You suspect by now something is amiss here. While the villagers are distracted, you may do some illicit investigations, or you may simply leave town without looking back. Alright, so as an investigator, right, we could run, but I know she would want to explore more. So we can search May Ledbetter's bedroom. Into a creepy door, right? We could search May's bedroom. We could go alone to the village hall. We could take a closer look at the artisan's courtyard, or we could spy on any activity at the beacon. I'm gonna say the only place we haven't been so far is the artisan's courtyard, so I think we're gonna go for the artisan's courtyard. So 219. You approach around the back of the building in Emberhead's northern corner. By this time in the morning, you'd expect activity in the artisan's courtyard, but the benches and anvils sit deserted. Your footsteps echo off the surrounding walls. One of the workshops is shut down and padlocked. You peek through the joints, you can see nothing inside. To try and crack the padlock, to physically break in, or to move to another area. I feel she'd probably go looking around first. Oh, move to another area probably means that we go doing something else in town. I'm gonna try and crack the padlock since I did select locksmith. It's nothing crazy, but it's something. So we're gonna do 225. You examine the padlock. It's old and not particularly secure. There are plenty of metal shavings around that could work as improvised picks, but can you really pick a lock? So I have to roll on here. So that is a 10 and a 4. So 14 because my they call it locksmith in this, but my locksmithing is a 20. So that would work. However, I have to roll the percentile die a second time. That's a 44, so that does not work. If I fail, go to 238. Great. You step back from the door, regard it in frustration. A crunching noise distracts you and a human shadow falls on a nearby wall. Someone's approaching. You melt away in the other direction. So unfortunately, we're Eepy. She didn't sleep well, so she can't break in. You feel a deepening unease about Emberhead and the day in particular. Once you have attempted 3 of the options below, go to 98. Otherwise, you may. So we went to the artisan hall. I think we're going to go search May's bedroom. I'm going to go to 83. Despite her hospitality, you do not trust May Ledbetter. You return to her house quite openly. Where else would you go? Inside, the dwelling still empty. You rap on the bedroom door and wait. Silence. You ease it open. I hope not. The Ledbetter bedroom is in marked contrast to your own neat space. Dirty clothes are piled around the floor. On a rough quilt lies school books and cheap novels. You notice a raggedy old doll discarded down the side of the bed. Make a spot hidden roll. So that's 18, but I have... Oh, 18, so I have to get lower than a 50. That's 88, so of course we're failing because we didn't sleep. Go to 89. You go through the Ledbetter's drawer. The only item interested is a wedding photograph. May's husband was a wiry man with a square chin. Despite the formality of the pose, you can see the affection between them. You feel a pang of guilt at your intrusion. Also, May might return at any time. I don't think we're gonna risk it. Well, it's because we didn't sleep. So we're going to go back to 120. Okay, so... we could run. We could attempt to flee. But again, she really, really wants to see what's going on. We're going to go alone to the village hall this time. That's a cool mechanic to add disadvantage. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to the village hall alone. Keeping away from the streets, you skirt the northern cliffs and approach the village hall from the rear. It is close to the beacon, and you might not be able to use the door unobserved. You check the windows. The one on the east side facing the beacon is bricked up. A shutter is loose on the westernmost window, and you're able to see it open and slide inside, closing the shutter behind you. You drop into the village meeting room and pad through, passing through dim shifts of light and listening as the exciting chatter of the locals from outside. The door opposite reads private. Hearing nothing from the other side, you turn the handle. Ooh. Alright, now let us see what it is you're hiding. The room is lined with books. In the corner is a small water closet and pantry. A quick survey of the rest of the room reveals little, so you turn the bookcase. The dim light makes it difficult to read the spines. Make a spot hidden roll. If you've examined this bookshelf, you may roll a bonus die. We did examine it once before. So I'm going to say, since we have a bonus roll, that would cancel out the, cancel out the disadvantage. So I'm just going to say that we roll normally for this one. 88. Cool. We finally can roll well, and we didn't even roll well. See page 14 of book 2 for instructions if you need. If you succeed, go. If not, go to 140. Tucked between two books, you find a detailed map of the area around Emberhead. It shows woodlands, contours, and the two roads east and west. Although no other settlements are marked, this may prove useful if you do decide to leave today. The clatter of activity around the beacon seems to be building, and you flinch at every conversation that gets too close to the public building's door. Feels the right time to retrace your steps, slipping away through the window. So, unfortunately, that will be the third one we've explored. Now we have to go to 98 because we did not leave. I know. Never, just fucking sleep. Next time, just sleep if you can. So, 98. You're contemplating your next move when you see one villager, a bald man with a damaged ear, watching you intently. Some instinct makes you walk in the other direction. Then you see the others ahead and to your side. A wary teenager, an evil-eyed matron, and a man hefting a club. They're not staring as obviously at the first, they keep you under watch. And they're closing in. You cannot hope to overcome 4 of them at once. There we go. To try to lose them among buildings, go to 158. To run for it, go to 164. Our dex is incredibly high. I say we try to lose them among the buildings. Our dex is high, and even if we're rolling a disadvantage, we haven't rolled anything. Well, we've rolled 88 twice now, which is weird. But no, we're going to try and go through the buildings. 158. You dart down an alley, then turn ahead in a completely different direction. Running feet sound behind you. For the first time, you feel Emberhead's cramped, chaotic streets work in your favor. You try to circle around towards the southern road. Make a stealth check. Okay, so we actually have stealth as well. So stealth is at... Oh, no, stealth is at 20. Well, fuck me. I know, right? It's perfect music for it. 40, and then we actually have to take the higher of the two rolls, which it doesn't matter then. We failed, yeah, because that would have been a 14. That we would have succeeded. Son of a bitch. Fail, we go to 170. You turn a corner, walk straight into the formidable woman with the malevolent stare. She grabs your shoulders and bears down on you. As you struggle, the man with the club runs up with the teenager. You are quickly overcome. Fucking sleep. 108. The fading light from a narrow window tells you your afternoon is giving way to evening. Your hands are shackled behind your back, so you cannot even lie down on the rough bed. A woman you have not seen comes in. Her face is wrinkled and her eyes dull. They do not meet yours, but she puts a cup to your lips. Do we accept the drink, or do we reject it? I say we reject it. I don't know if we, like, spit it in her face, but we definitely reject it. 113. You turn your face away, and when she tries again, you dash the cup from her hands using the side of your head. The clear liquid spills across the floor. The woman gives a half shrug and turns to leave the room. You shout after her, but she gives no reaction. You soon become thirsty. Hey, I'm not taking any of that. Hey! And then she leaves. Great. 205. As the light fades outside, your little prison becomes dark. You can hear much activity around the building. Occasionally an orange glow passes the window. The only comfortable position in the shackle seems to be sit against the end of the bed with your arms hanging behind you. You need to concentrate and come up with a plan. There's clearly no escape from your bonds. You do not know exactly what your captors want from you, but you cannot ignore the fact that you've spent the entire day constructing a massive bonfire. This is going to be, the Nicolas Cage, right? This could be Burning Man. Dehydrated and sleepy double disadvantage. Handcuffed triple disadvantage. Absolutely not. Go to 27. Is this going to be the end of Maddie's adventure? Hopefully not. I kind of like her. The door scrapes, wrenching you back into the moment. Orange light spills into the house from blazing torches held at the threshold. Two large villagers step in and grab you. At least you assume they're villagers. They wear heavy black cloaks, and their faces and hands are painted entirely black, save only for a red triangle centered on their left eye. You try to drag your legs, but they reach under your arms and lift you bodily from the bed. Outside, seems the whole village is congregated to see you. Every single one has a blackened face with the red triangle motif. Torches splatter and spill fire. You struggle, but you can see physical resistance is hopeless. You march to the central street and turn to face the beacon. You're going to be sacrificed? I hope not. Go to 117. The procession down the approach is slow and formal, save when you sense weakness and yank at your captors. A chill touches you when you see three human shapes carried ahead of you, draped in red cloth. The beacon looms larger and larger, its dreadful silhouette a black triangle pointing to the stars. A low drone begins among the cloaked figures. Unbidden, the word mourners comes to mind. Smoke from their torches makes you cough. You feel heat on your face. I don't like that. Oh, hold on. Is the music almost over? We got 5 minutes left for it. I might just go midway through there. There we go. That sounds better. This might be better than having a military base blow up on you twice. Yeah, that's very true. As you reach the cleared area around the beacon, three dancers break from the pack. Young girls swinging balls of fire in spectacular arcs, drawing circles into the night air. Well, isn't that, something? One by one, they draw close to you and touch your forehead with sooty fingers. Each kisses you 3 times, on the left cheek, right cheek, forehead. Then they whisper in your ear. The smell of kerosene fills your nostrils. Make an appeal roll. Oh, shit. Our appeal's 50. 70. I already failed. because I can't take a second roll. Yeah, that would have been 40. Cool. All right. Well, our first appeal roll. Could have used her pretty face, and apparently not. Through your sacrifice, the village will be reborn, says the first dancer. You pass from earth to air for all our sakes, says the second. Through incandescence, may you find rapture, says the third. Their dances weave off and disappear behind the building. Go to 18. This is not good. I didn't expect this would be the day she died, dude. As you arrive beneath the beacon, 10 villagers close in on you. Working with surprising coordination, they immobilize you and lift you up the blackened iron stairs to the raised platform. Cannot help but shiver at the sight of the central framework, twisted from past blazes, and what you now clearly see to be fastening points for chain. None of the eyes meet yours as they lash you to the metal. The village sings now, something rhythmic and ancient carved from odd syllables. A second group ascends to the beacon, carrying the 3 red-draped bodies. With reverence, they arrange their burdens in a triangle around your feet. Then they withdraw, leaving you alone in the dead, shin-deep in a sea of kindling. Yeah, we would have survived like 4 times over now. And then this is, of course, the beacon that we were talking about earlier. It seems the entire village is gathered around the beacon to watch you burn. Behind the face paint, you recognize May Ledbetter, and yes, that is Silas, the coach driver, standing at her side. The audacity and scale of the deception staggers you. A man steps up on a dais and raises his hands with quiet authority. The frame of his spectacles obscures the red triangle of his face. We know this is Winter. So we draw here tonight, again on this night, as we do each year, and we give thanks to the one who will preserve the village from the fire of the void. You will be taken by the ones from above in our stead. Your death will bring life to our street and bounty to our fields. It will safeguard our children and our elders alike for another year. We salute you. He bows his head. All around the beacon, bearers step forward and lift their torches to the raised platform. A ring of tiny flames flicker up around the perimeter. As they wink, the singing of the villagers drops into an unearthly rhythm. So we can either throw our remaining strength or wait and see what happens. Honestly, at this point, she's pretty fucking freaked out. I'm pretty sure we're gonna try and, remaining strength against the bonds. I don't think we're gonna sit and see what happens and let her try and fucking burn, You're tired, and your flesh ought to be insufficient against the dark iron that you feel you have. Give a little. There's weakness in one of the links. Make a hard strength roll. A hard strength roll is, for us, I need to make a 25. If this first roll is anything lower than that, I fail. Or anything higher. 19. 19. Okay. 89. Yeah, we fucking failed. Great. We would have passed every single one if we weren't sleep deprived. If you fail, go to 40. The flames snake across the kindling, catching and rising. Smoke rises, and it becomes difficult to see the villagers. The 3 bodies surrounding you catch fire, blazing with sooty red flames. You begin to cough as the smoke enters your lungs and fight down the urge. If you've learned a strange chant and wish to try it, this is a moment. This is the moment. Absolutely not. We didn't learn a strange chant. So we're going to 65. Flames lick at your legs, your eyes water. You are shrouded in smoke. It might be your imagination, but you think you can feel a slight give in the chains. You throw yourself against them, giving no thoughts on how they bite into your wrists. Take 1d6 points of damage from the fire. So I'm at 9. I take 4, so I'm down to 5. If this reduces you to 0, you collapse and are burned to death. Otherwise, make a strength roll. Just a normal strength roll. Come on, anything under 50. 69. Nice, but we failed. 77. The chains give a little more. You feel you could overcome them if you only had a little more time. You feel the flesh of your legs char, the fire spreading up your jacket and licks at your face, and you know you've run out of time. You have burned to death in the beacon. Why not try again? By making different choices, you might be able to escape or outwit the people of Emberhead. The end. So that was a solo adventure where we were alone against the flames. Maddie tried. She tried, man. We could... I know, it literally gave me so many attempts, but because we decided to stay awake all night. But that's part of the game, you know? It's fun. So, yeah. There you go. Unfortunately, Maddie has burned to death. We'll use her again at some point, but we might make another character. Or, in the next one, we could just run and try Alone Against the Tide. Maybe, as she burned to death, she awakens in a new place by a lakeshore. I don't know. No, this one was really good. I really like the narrative. Don't get me wrong, it's cool with the other ones where we kind of like make our own narrative and stuff. Like, I did enjoy Alone Against Fear, but this one was just so good. Actually having like a direction to go to, it was so good, man. So we're done for tonight. That took us a little over 2 hours, so that was really good. We're definitely gonna do this one again. Just found one called Deify. Yes, I was looking at Deify as well. But we're gonna do some more of these, and then at some point we'll switch up and do some other stuff. Like I said, I still want to do. I wanted to do 4 Against Darkness. I also got another one, Ironsworn Starforged. But Starforged is like very, very sandbox, very, very open world, and I want to like play a character or two myself before actually doing that. But this one was super easy to pick up, man. Like, this one wasn't bad at all. And like I said, you know, if Maddie, oh god, Snoot is howling like a demon. And if, you know, Maddie can survive the other stuff, we can go. Or, I mean, might just have her go anyway. Fuck it. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I'm going to go see what Snoot was howling like a demon at. So, thank you so much for watching, hanging out. We will see you in the next one. And if you see this on YouTube and you want to see more, well, follow me, twitch.tv/uidseaStream. Anyways, later.